Welcome to my channel, Bible Moral Stories.
Jonah was a prophet of God, and one day God commanded him, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me." Nineveh was the capital of Assyria, one of Israel's greatest enemies. Jonah hated the Assyrians and did not want them to repent and receive God's mercy. Instead of obeying, he ran away by boarding a ship heading to Tarshish, a faraway land in the opposite direction of Nineveh. As Jonah sailed away, God sent a violent storm that threatened to sink the ship. The sailors, terrified, prayed to their gods and threw cargo overboard to lighten the load. Meanwhile, Jonah was sleeping below deck. The captain woke him and said, "How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will notice us so that we will not perish." The sailors cast lots to see who was responsible for the storm, and the lot fell on Jonah. They asked him who he was, and he confessed, "I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." Realizing that Jonah was running from God, the sailors asked what they should do. Jonah told them to throw him into the sea to calm the storm. At first, they resisted and tried to row back to shore, but the storm only grew worse. Finally, they prayed for forgiveness and threw Jonah overboard. Immediately, the storm stopped, and the sailors, awed by God's power, offered sacrifices and made vows to him. As Jonah sank into the sea, God appointed a great fish to swallow him. He remained in its belly for 3 days and 3 nights. Inside the fish, Jonah prayed, acknowledging God's sovereignty and thanking him for saving him from drowning. His prayer included, "In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead, I called for help, and you listened to my cry." Jonah repented and declared, "Salvation comes from the Lord." After this, God commanded the fish to vomit Jonah onto dry land. After Jonah was rescued, God spoke to him a second time, repeating his command to go to Nineveh. This time, Jonah obeyed. Jonah boldly preached, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. To Jonah's shock, the people of Nineveh repented. They believed in God and fasted, from the king down to the commoners. Even the animals were made to fast, and everyone wore sackcloth as a sign of sorrow for their sins. The king issued a decree. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and violence. Who knows? God may yet relent, and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. Because they genuinely repented, God showed mercy and did not destroy the city. Instead of being happy that so many people turned to God, Jonah was furious. He wanted Nineveh to be destroyed because of their past wickedness. He prayed angrily, "I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity." Jonah was so upset that he asked God to take his life. God gently asked, "Is it right for you to be angry?" Jonah left the city and sat outside, waiting to see if God would change his mind and destroy Nineveh. As he sat in the heat, God provided a leafy plant to give him shade, making him feel better. But the next morning, God sent a worm to eat the plant, and it withered. Then a scorching wind and blazing sun beat down on Jonah's head, making him miserable. Jonah again wished for death. God then taught Jonah a lesson. You are concerned about the plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. And should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and also many animals? This was God's message to Jonah. His mercy extends to all people if they repent.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.